Alright, I'm making this video because I've been wanting to make it for a while, and it's even still hard for me to believe sometimes. And I've done it. Now, I'm making this video explaining to you how I have controlled the weather. Yes, the weather. Weather. Yes. Now, I read this in my book, one of my favorite books. If not my favorite book, it probably is my favorite book because I've read it the most. It is called The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. This is an old book, okay? See, you got to understand, how did we make it this far? I tell my children, you come from a strong bloodline because you got to think about history. Millions of, if not, billions, what am I talking about? Billions of people have died in the history of time, right? But for some great reason, and this is God's grace and mercy, your bloodline survived. Your bloodline had to survive since the beginning of time. People had to keep living and procreating for you to be here today. So, how you think they got here? You think they just got here? There wasn't no electricity being used and, all the technology we have now and convenience. They did it on a very spiritual level. They controlled and survived life on a very spiritual level. They were much more spiritual back then than we are now. Think about the most, God-loving, fearing people in your family. It's the older ones. I remember how my grandparents were, and great grandparents, and uncles and they were much more spiritual. They had a whole lot of home remedies, and they knew how to do things themselves. And we had a garden in our backyard. Because my grandfather grew up on a farm, so he knew how to grow food. We had a nice sized garden. My aunts, my uncles, everybody grew food and stuff. You know what I mean? So on a spiritual level, you hear about Native Americans doing the rain dance and stuff like that. Isn't that controlling weather? So, in my book, in my favorite book, The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn, please look it up. I'm not a hardcover book reader. I can read a hardcover book with the best of them, but I like audiobooks because I'm usually, on the move or whatever. So it's on YouTube. You can just listen to it, and I promise you, it will change your life forever. Just one listen, and I listen to it over and over again to refresh myself because life be lifing, but God be Godding, and you got to remember that. So, back to the point of this video: how I control the weather. So, in the book, it says that when man truly has faith and surrenders to God's will and infinite spirit, he can do phenomenal things. So it used to always it had this one excerpt on he can even control the weather. So, like I said, I'm not saying I control the weather like, on some X-Men shit. I'm saying that there's been times where something was going on with the weather and I commanded it to stop or to wait or to in the mighty name of Yahshua Jesus Christ. Now, I wouldn't just do it on my own. I would, in the name of Jesus Christ, I command it to stop snowing. And there was a time where it was snowing, and I got witnesses. I can get my girl right now. I ain't gonna put her in the video, but I'll make another video. She was there. I have witnesses where it was snowing, and I commanded it to snow. Now, when you're doing it, I guess you have a level of faith in doing it because you wouldn't do it if you didn't have a level of faith. But when you're doing it, I'm not saying when I'm doing it, I fully feel it. I fully feel like I'm commanding it. Of course, before and after, I'm like, is this shit really gonna work? But I'm not saying I did it. I'm just saying I commanded it to stop snowing in the mighty name of Yahshua Jesus Christ. And a couple of minutes later, not too long after, it stopped snowing. And that's not the first time. That was like the fifth time I've done, probably more than that. I've done it. I've had my children do it. Like, please stop raining. in the mighty name of Yahshua Jesus Christ, I command the weather to stop raining. And that doesn't work all the time. I don't do it all the time anyway either, but it doesn't work all the time. But there's been incidents more than once, more than twice. I've done this several times. Several times I've, commanded the weather, and you learned it as a kid. Rain, go away, come back another day. So it's like, but I mean, it's just, you just chop it up to it being, fantasy that a human being could really command and control the weather. And I'm just making this video because I've done it. I'm not saying I control the weather. I'm not saying that you can. I'm just saying that there's been incidences where I, the weather was going to be bad or something. I remember there was some rain clouds coming, and I was at a pool party, and I was out in the front by myself. And of course, I'm not gonna do this around anybody because it's like, what the fuck? So I was by myself, and I was like, in the mighty name of Yahshua Jesus Christ, I command it to not rain. I command it to not rain right now. And it didn't rain for a couple of hours after that. I mean, the clouds came and all that. It wasn't, as sunny as it was, but it did not rain. It started raining, but it was like maybe at least 2 hours, almost, if not 3 hours later, that the rain started coming. But before that, I did it, and I'm not saying I did it, but and it's happened multiple times. And like I said, it's happened with my children, because I give my children early what I learned late. So children are much more impressionable at that age. They'll believe that real shit. That's why young people are so powerful. That's why they attack young people so much. That's why they send young people to war. That's why they attack young people through the music and everything, because young people got all the power. They just, they're intensely distracted, by good things and bad things, and evil things, and glorious things, because you gotta stay positive. Like I said, life be lifing, but God be Godding. But yeah, I would suggest anybody to try it. Hell yeah, try it. I like I said, me personally, I command the weather to do what I wanted to do in the mighty name of Yahshua Jesus Christ. There's been times where, I was all the way, I was in Oklahoma, my girl's from Oklahoma, OKC, so I was out there, and it was supposed to be tornadoes that weekend I was out there. You know what I mean? I'm from Jersey. We ain't got no time for no tornadoes. It is, like, I don't want to hear, I don't want to see one. Her brothers be asking me, you want to go? And they're weather dudes. They chase tornadoes where they used to, and so they'll still do it though. They with the shit. They're like, you don't want to go on a tornado chase? Hell no. Sorry, no thank you. I'm good. I'm good. Listen, I've been to every hood in the East Coast. I've been in every borough in New York. I've been in every hood in New Jersey. I've been in North Philly, everywhere by myself. Facts. And I have no problem doing that. But a tornado, you got it. You got it all. I don't want no parts of a tornado. You feel me? But anyway, I was at her house. We was chilling, and I was with her son. Her son was there. It's another. I got witnesses now. So it ain't like it's just me talking out my butt. I have witnesses to this. So he was there. He was like, yeah, it might be a tornado, blah, blah, blah. And they survived like a hellish tornado in 2013. I don't know if y'all remember back in 2013, tornado hit, and their school got hit while they was there. A couple of their classmates died. They didn't die. They ended up going on. They was on the news in New York, Good Morning America or something like that. So there's footage of this, so just he's a real person. Like, I can pull up everything on him, and he was there. And I was like, in the mighty name of Yahshua Jesus Christ, I command that there will be no tornadoes this weekend. There will be no tornadoes and it was really like it was red. Like, I trying to my dad called me, and he was like, son, are you all right? Because they're saying that tornadoes are hitting. It wasn't like, oh, it might be a tornado. No, they were saying tornadoes it was a huge chance that tornadoes was going to hit. And I'll make another video with the dates and everything. Y'all can see what the weather was supposed to be. And I swear, I commanded it in the mighty name of Yahshua Jesus Christ that there will be no tornadoes that weekend. And it wasn't. Matter of fact, the weather was all right. It wasn't even raining then. Like, you get storms. I mean, you know what I mean? But it was alright because we went to a couple of spots that were outside. We were outside the whole time. And like I said, I'm only making this video because it's happened so many times. I wouldn't be over the years. I wouldn't be making these videos like, I controlled the weather one time. No, I've been doing this because I've been reading the book since 2019, maybe before that. I've been reading this book for years, and it was saying me. I try to surrender to God's will as much as possible. So when it comes to God and positivity and metaphysics and I try to be as gullible as possible because I know the belly of the beast. I come from the belly of the beast. You know what I mean? Like, I've escaped the belly of the beast. So I want as good as much possible because I've lived through hell. You know what I mean? We all got our story. So it's like, yeah, I want all that. Whatever's positive, whatever's God, whatever's, light, whatever's giving me light, yeah, I'll try it. I'm with it. You know what I mean? Because I want that protection. The other protection ain't real protection. It's a facade. So, yeah, though, try it. You can control the weather. It is what it is. Try it. I mean, I've done it several times. I'm not saying I'm doing it, but something's happening. It was supposed to be tornadoes. Like, it was at least one was supposed to hit, and nothing hit that whole time. From the time we left. Matter of fact, the storm was happening right when we left. So, and I've done it with all different types of weather. Rain, snow, tornadoes, storms, And I don't do it every time, like a storm. I don't really, you know what I mean? Because it's one of those things, it's like, one, you got to think about even doing it. And then you got to have the faith to do it. And then you don't want to be around nobody doing it. So it's like I don't do it a lot. But I've done it. And most importantly, I've done it in front of people. That's when I started really being like, because before I used to only do it myself. And then, my kids knew about it, you know what I'm saying? But, like, I started doing it in front of people. And I'm like, yo. And people, it's not like people like super judge on knowing it, you know what a person's thinking, like, what the hell you do? What the hell is this guy doing? But I give it to God, so it's like you don't really need to explain yourself, like. But I do, because it's like, yo, if this shit worked, don't say nothing, like, and it worked. I'm like, yo, it stopped snowing. I remember my girl's right there. I'm like, yo, it stopped snowing. Did it not just? It was coming down, flakes. It was coming down. That snow that sticks. It was that. And I commanded it, and I swear, I don't know if it was like 10, 15 minutes later, it stopped snowing. There wasn't no tornadoes that weekend in Oklahoma. I know that. I'm telling you, my dad called me because he was in New Orleans, and he was like, "Yo, they saying this. You good? You good?" I'm like, "Yo, the weather's great." While he's calling me, the sun's out. I'm outside in the backyard, chilling. Sun's out. And, and I did that in front of her son. And he a grown man, you feel me? Like, he a young man, but, And it's good for them to see that. It's good for other people to see that, because it's like, even if you don't give me the credit, because I don't want the damn credit, you give it to God. Because God can do all things with faith. We are God incarnate. We are made in God's image, so we are many gods. Take that power and use it. Use it for the right thing. We love using it for the wrong thing. We gotta use it for the right thing. And it'd be crazy what we can do. Like I said, the Native Americans was rain dancing and rain, go away, come back another day, all that. You know what I mean? So I'm just making this video to say, like, we are much more powerful than we think we are. And we shouldn't waste that power and that energy on the wrong things when we can do magnificent things for ourselves and others. That's what we're here for. We're here for love. Show love, show love, show love, show love, show love, yo. I know it ain't always easy to show love. You know what I mean? Sometimes just showing love to yourself is staying away from people. Whatever. Or just, you know what I mean? Like, yo, man, if you got one good friend or you got one good partner, that's why you got to value your people more. If you got a good husband or a good wife or a good girlfriend or a good boyfriend, you got to value them, yo. Because that kid, you know, that's all you need. You got your kids, that's all you need. You know what I mean? You got a good friend, that's all you need. You don't need to be the life of the party and all that. That'll come if it's supposed to come. And that shit ain't all what it's, you know, built up to be. It comes from a lot of insecurity and all that. Unless you really showing love and you just, everybody don't love, that's what's up. All that other shit trying to shine on each other and shit, that shit. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I digress. What I'm trying to say is that we are powerful. We are powerful human beings. We can't explain nothing. And everything is powerful. Think about water. Think about wood. Think about wood. Like I'm sitting in a wood chair with a wooden table. Half this house is made of wood, if not, you know, more than half. Like, it's a special thing that we can't explain, and it grows out the ground, and it's so fucking useful. But we talking about we don't believe in God. That's one thing. That's one thing out of billions of things that God has made for us and created for us to, you know, out of love. Everything comes from some love. Food is love. Ain't food love? Grows out the ground. That's God. That's how much God loves us. He gave us a way to grow food and eat it out the ground. That's all. Everything is love. We just got to get back to that. The violence is out of control. That's another thing I'm gonna make a video about. This violence has to stop, bro. Come on, man. Like, we, especially as a people. Why you think other races don't respect us? It's because we don't have any unity. We let everybody break us up, man. You feel me? We got to get back. I'm old enough to remember the black unity. We all had each other's back. The black women had the men's back, the men had the women's back, the men had the men's back, and the women had the women's back. Like, all this separation because of classism and, you know, like I said, I digress. Getting back to the point. Yes, if you really have faith and you really believe, I believe you can control the weather. Because I've done it. I'm not saying I've done it on some witchcraft shit, nothing. I'm just saying, and I've tried it, and it worked. That's the best way I can explain it. I tried it, and it worked for what I was asking. Like it says in the Bible, asking you shall receive. So I asked the weather, I really commanded. I commanded in the mighty name of Yahshua Jesus Christ. I commanded to do what I want. And it's happened. Not every time. I'm just saying it's happened enough for me to make this damn video about it. For real. But one love as usual. Holla at your boy. See you in the comments if you got something to say.